So another big secret when it comes to introverted thinking is that it sticks to its point. It is a logical, linear function. It goes from point A to point B, one step at a time. It is gradual, meaning that unlike extroverted thinking, it doesn't jump around and go from this point to that point. It likes to stick on one singular path, which gives them a natural propensity or ability to really hone in, to really hone in and have tunnel vision. It is very much a tunnel vision function in the sense that it likes to follow one linear progression. That's why they make great builders, great engineers. It's because in order to be a good engineer, in order to be good with architecture or building or math is literally a purely introverted thinking dominant form of learning. Math is saying 1 + 1 = 2, and then in the higher degrees of math, you're having to follow linear steps to get to one primary equation. And so, whatever it's going to equal to is something that requires a linear progression. So a lot of people who have extroverted thinking struggle with math because halfway through the teacher explaining the math information, they can get distracted. They can jump to this point. They can jump to that point. So all of that plays a role in, making math harder for people who have introverted thinking. For people who don't have introverted thinking. And it makes math easier for people who do have introverted thinking because they follow a linear progression, they follow linear steps, and it requires them focusing on being exact. One thing about introverted thinking is it likes to be exact. That's why they can come off as stubborn at times or difficult, but it's really because they want to make sure that everything is making sense from beginning to end. Extroverted thinkers will generally say, okay, I get the gist of this. Oh, okay, I see where it's going. Oh, okay, I get this, I get that. But what you have to understand is you might get the overall idea, but you might miss the specifics. Introverted thinking wants to know the specifics. It wants to hone in on the details. Introverted thinking is naturally a detail-oriented function. So that's why even in communication with introverted thinkers, they're very precise with the words they use. A lot of the time, introverted thinkers can communicate in a more simplistic way compared to extroverted thinking types or extroverted feeling dominance and stuff. But introverted thinking dominant types just say what they mean and they mean what they say. They don't have to do a lot of extra fluff, extra communication, because once again, that takes it away from the precision. That takes it away from the core point. You have to look at introverted thinking as the core potent point in the middle, like the core point of what the person's thinking. Everything extended from that, for example, I always say introverted thinking is your first thought and saying your first thought. Anything after that is gonna manipulate it, change it, rearrange it for it to give a different effect. At that point, you're going further away from the core thought. And so with that, you lose some of the potency, some of the meaning, some of the base of what it is, and as a result, it can be good in certain situations because it can make it a smoother communication, but it can be bad because it can muddle and over communicate and manipulate the original idea. If you want to practice more introverted thinking, you have to say what you mean and mean what you say. Be very simple with your communications. Don't over communicate. Stick to the main point. If somebody asks you, what do you think about this? The first thing that comes to your mind, I think X, Y, Z, that's it. I stated what it is and that's it. It's like you ask me this question, I give you one response. You ask me one question, I give you one response. It's not 5 different responses. If we're focusing on this, I'm gonna focus on that. If someone says, but this, that, now they're getting in the way of introverted thinking. And what you'll find is a big part of introverted thinking is simply observing what's going on and paying attention to what's around you and simply following linear steps that people ask you or whatever it is you're doing. It's following linear steps to get it done. And that essentially, these are some secrets of introverted thinking. Of course, these are obvious things. They're not necessarily secrets, but I call them secrets because of the way that I might explain them. The way that I touch on them is going to be different. And these are things that I've noticed with introverted thinking. That's why I call them secrets as well. It's not things that I go on Google and type in where introverted thinkers and then regurgitate it to you. These are the observations that I've seen that are a little bit deeper into how introverted thinking operates on a moment to moment when it's applied. So I'm gonna continue this. These were just some small ideas. I'm gonna go deeper into it. I just wanted to share some of this with you just to let y'all know the videos are gonna continue coming. And I'm gonna really do a deep dive, some more into introverted thinking. So I got some videos coming within the next couple of days that are gonna be really good. Hope you enjoy.